All right, everybody. Welcome to a really big episode of Dissonant Waves. We got our first
Yay.
big interview, the world famous musician, Rit lin4kidz.
That's the worst way to introduce me, but okay.
My name is Dominic. I'll be one of the interviewers. Who's my other interviewer today?
Tricks.
Yeah. And introduce yourself, please, sir.
You mean it's me, or did you just misgender Tricks?
You, the person we're interviewing.
Yeah. I am Ritalin. I have been on this podcast for the past 91 episodes.
92.
This is episode 92. I did get that number right.
Yes, you did.
And I write music when I'm bored, and I don't know how to write music. And I've now put out this beautiful record, which I didn't force you to listen to. No, Dominic forced you to listen to. So
Yeah.
Yes, I did. I absolutely did. And I think it was worth listening to. And to be
that's
clear,
the kindest review I've gotten.
yes, we got Desk Slammin Fun by Rit lin4kidz, and also the Miss Orsa and Noreen singles, EPs, whatever you want to call them, they are there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did release, just to piss off Dominic, Slifermean as a single a couple days ago, just because I had a couple stuff in the left in the unreleased demos that I could have put on, and I did gave names while I was there as well.
Yeah, it's really rare to have an artist release stuff during the week of prep, but that's just how it is sometimes. It's fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll come back to it at a different time.
Indeed.
Meanwhile, we also have a couple other things to cover. We did Fourth Wanderers, finally. Trix, you've been wanting to do this for a while.
2019.
Yes, one of your long white whales.
Yeah.
We got the Fourth Wanderer self-titled and also the Slop EP.
And I also tacked on the live version of Be My Baby.
Okay, was that required?
Yeah, that was required.
Okay, I still listened to it. I just did not.
I don't think Ritz listened to it, I'm going to guess.
No, probably not.
Meanwhile,
Fair enough.
In the reversal of all reversals, though, Ritz did end up taking an album I was planning on covering kind of soonish anyway. The new Pup album, The Unraveling of PUPTHEBAND.
Yeah, it's a new pop record, baby.
Now, talking about your album and EPs real quick as we kind of get into the actual episode itself, I wonder if you could tell us the genesis of what Desk Slammin Fun is about. What was it about slamming on your desk that you thought would be interesting for the album?
So by Genesis, do you mean like the first kind of initial ideas I had, or like what caused me to think about this idea? Is that what you're?
What caused you to think about it?
Okay, cool. I play a lot of Counter-Strike, so I slam my desk a lot, and I'm also mad ADHD, so I fidget a lot, and constantly I do actually just like hit my desk in the kind of like, I don't know if that made enough sound kind of thing, but make a little bit of percussion note, enough to piss off my partner completely. And I decided, hey, what if I actually just record this and see what happens? I don't even care if it's good or not. Just record this, and that was the kind of start. Interestingly enough, I on the back cover you'll actually notice it. There's a picture of my headset, which is actually my old headset, because that broke probably a day after I finished the album.
Nice.
That's fun.
With that,
Yeah,
though,
so it's all recorded. I just want to say it's all recorded on the shittier headset, and now I have this better mic.
with all of that though, did you ever find yourself listening to yourself slamming on the desk, making noises beforehand? Like, I know you probably noticed it, but did you ever like listen to it and try to like?
Not in a recording way, but like anytime that I do like the casual just like hit objects and stuff, I do actually like listen to what I'm doing.
Yeah, because I think that's where a song like Guitar Hero Solo Unplugged would come from, at least to my ears, of like, hey, this sounds like something. I'm doing a guitar solo in a game, but I'm also doing like a button pressing thing. It's rhythmic. It's cool.
I think that's one of the few songs on here that actually has no desk slamming in it.
Yes, it's true. But
Yeah.
you gotta have variety, dynamics. I appreciate you trying to really vary up your sound palette.
Yeah, I mean, there was actually quite a lot of other songs in there which again don't have the desk slamming that originally were on there ended up getting moved to the singles. I consider them singles and just a bunch of B-sides on there, but I don't give a shit if you want to call them an EP because they are a couple tracks long. Like originally, the track Noreen, its placement was actually hiking in the woods.
Interesting. That is definitely
Alright.
one of the tracks that stands out the most to me across all three of the projects.
Noreen or hiking in the woods?
Hiking in the Woods.
Yeah, because that one actually sounds like what its fucking title has.
Yeah, it sounds like you went out there and did it. I'm assuming you probably didn't though.
No, that's made using. So you'll notice there's a couple references to like to coins and shit, or $10.90 is my favorite because that's called that because the harmonica cost $5 and I had $5.90 worth of coins in my hand.
Huh.
And hiking in the woods to get that sound, there's my desk fan playing, which is a big instrument in this album. And I have a couple coins, and I'm just very slowly shaking them in front of both the mic and the desk fan.
You simulate the kind of thing of walking like you're in a forest.
Yeah.
Like that. Trix, do you have any questions so far?
How the fuck were you this off rhythm, man? Like, my God, I don't mean to like insult, but like,
Well, you see, most of my music theory came from when I was in the fourth grade, and it kind of stayed there. So I haven't really been able to channel it back too much.
fair enough. I just gotta say, I both love and hated what you did.
I'd like to say that I was inspired by Captain Beefheart, but I feel like he would come back from the dead and slap me.
I think he would too.
Yeah,
I was looking at some Frank Zappa.
yeah.
I was looking at some Frank Zappa sheet music today, and fuck, is that stuff weird?
I did find a Frank Zappa CD actually the other day, and they at a Vinnie's for $1. So that's
apostrophe, shake your booty. What was it?
let me quickly get it up. Should be able to find it in. I was looking at Frank Zappa, but I think it's actually under the Mothers of Invention. Yes, it is. Overnight Sensation.
Ah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that was $1 at the shop. I haven't listened to it.
That's worth $1.
But
for $1.
To actually answer the question of how it's off key, a lot of the music here was written individually. Like all the musical tracks on it are written really individually. So it wouldn't be like play one, listen over it, and play it with the other. It would kind of be putting a bunch of different soundtracks together and seeing how they work.
I am just impressed that you could play one rhythm by slamming the desk and then play an entirely different rhythm, fucking playing the harmonica. Like, that just hurts my brain.
It's polyrhythm, though.
It's not good polyrhythm, but it is polyrhythm.
No one said it had to be good, Tricks.
Captain Beefheart's good polyrhythm, so is this.
Captain Beefheart isn't good polyrhythm.
Let's not make jokes now.
But that is the best that I can answer that question.
Okay.
I appreciate your answer. Now, with that, I have to ask, how much of this was pre-planned out, if any?
So on most of the songwriting on here, on the actual level of the songwriting, not just like the album in general, is very, what's the word? Impressionist, I guess is the best one. Like, it's kind of just done on the spot. Just improv. I'm bad at my words. So it's kind of, I mean, that's kind of what I was doing when I was like, going back into the earlier question, like if I listened to myself, I'm just doing random whatever comes into my head kind of thing when I'm doing that originally. So it felt like if I'm trying to grab the essence of I'm just making music, which comes to my head, whether it's good or not, then there's no real point pre-planning it. It's kind of have to kind of be a bit more improvisational. And I'm trying to think of like the best way to put it. I mean, the song orders, I actually probably took the most out of any release that I've done. Actually, like going through all the songs, listening back to them, thinking, okay, hey, does it work here in the sense of an album? Because whilst I personally don't think this is actual good music or anything like that, I did still want to actually make it like an album.
Yeah.
I can see
And
that.
that's why. And that's why, there's a lot that was cut off here and going back onto the singles or anything like that, blah 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 blah. But did actually, go back over and over and over and over and then go, okay, does this fit here? Can I change this to another position? Do I just want to get rid of it? Like $10.90, which is I think is the absolute worst song I've ever fucking written. I had to kind of like tell myself, it's like, hey, this is just a fucking joke of an album. Just keep it in there.
Yeah.
Whatever you got to tell yourself to make yourself okay with.
Yeah, pretty much.
I will ask one other question before I throw it back to Trix here. You said you created these songs all individually. Does that mean you were not kind of jamming out and seeing what you could find? That you were just consciously trying to go track to track to track?
So a lot of the times I actually am doing this. Like when I say individually, like I wouldn't go back to songs. I'd kind of be like, if I'm done, it's like I'm done with it. There was a couple times where I actually did coin type drum beat. I actually originally that was only the coin because I wrote and I'm saying wrote, but like I performed these, before I actually read anything. Before I actually had the harmonica.
Interesting.
So originally that was just going to be a coin. But I actually did go back to that one. Most of it was though just going track by track, but I'd start off the song kind of like, I'd start off usually with the drum beat because it's a lot easier to do it that way. And then I would just put on some harmonica. And there were a couple times where I listened back and I just said, like, because there's a bunch of times where it's obviously, you listen to on the album and it's shit, the harmonica doesn't fit. But there was some times that the harmonica really didn't fit. So I'm like, okay, I had to scrape that and just record something else over it.
There was never a time you were like, you're gonna cut something and like do it as a separate track because there's like a pause in there, or you think you changed rhythms or something.
Nah, not really. It didn't really happen that way. I mean, it's not something that I would have never done. It just didn't really happen in the recording of this.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of questions on my feet, but it's late and I have been plagued by allergies all day. Apologies, 1 second.
That is all fair. This interview is all inclusive. And mostly directed at me.
I really don't have many questions. I can figure out your headspace through a lot of this. No offense.
Ask
Go
anything
ahead.
you want though.
Yeah,
Ask any kind of
go
question.
ahead.
When you make a grilled cheese sandwich, what kind of cheese do you go for?
Now that's a great question, and actually does depend on what's in the fridge. I actually have this. I picked it up just from the fucking supermarket across the hill. There's this very nice smoked cheddar block which I grate up. I put that in there all the goddamn time. I use a mix of cheeses though. I never use the one cheese.
Yeah, that is the way.
Yeah, I use bit of tasty cheese, just a regular cheese in there as well because that's in there. Mozzarella I like to use, but I like to use that a lot, so it always runs out. And if I have it, I will always put on brie. There's this great little like truffle brie. It hasn't really got much truffles in it, or is it probably legitimate truffles? But it still has that little mushroomy taste in it, which very nice to put on there as well. Without a doubt, a bit of parsley and chives. Mix that in. There's nothing wrong with putting that in a grilled cheese. I usually end up making it a toasty, and I'm not going to try and claim that this is a goddamn grilled cheese because fucking hell, I know there are people who kill me. But I usually like to put a bit of tomato or bacon in there. I know it no longer is a grilled cheese once I've done that. I do realize, but I still do it anyway.
Yeah.
Butter on both sides of the bread, and then I got a sandwich press and just 2 minutes, easy grilled cheese.
Sounds very elaborate, very complex. I think everyone will appreciate your recipe tips for cheese.
Yes.
Oh, it's been great every time I've eaten it. I had one for lunch today. With the tomato, no bacon.
Sorry, go ahead. Finish, please.
No, that was it. I did finish.
Excellent. Now, I understand that you have some opinions on your peers, your contemporaries, Pup, and their new album, The Unraveling of PUPTHEBAND.
I'm going to murder you I'm going to murder you for calling them my peers or contemporaries.
I mean, they released the album a month and a half after you, so really they came after.
Yeah,
you, so.
it's okay. Let's go off the interview. Go into pop. So I've chosen a new pop record, the Unraveling of Pop the Band. Pretty much I was excited for this record when the lead single last year, Waiting, dropped. I put that in my top 100 of last year, and I still do enjoy the song, even if it isn't my favorite off this record. However, not too sure if if this album's gonna be a grower on me or not. I've come out liking a lot of moments from this record, but also being really bored from a lot of the later moments on this record.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And I'm currently been in the past week ranking this in where it is in my list of best pop albums. It's nowhere near Morbid Stuff.
That was their best.
Anyway,
one?
that's my. Oh yeah, their last album was fucking great. It was angsty as shit. Loved it.
Having little context for Pup outside of the Finn Wolfhard videos that we covered way back when, I came away really liking this album. I thought conceptually it was really interesting. I thought it flowed well as a concept album and also as an April Fool's album, which I've not really seen a lot of bands do. But
the concept, though, I just want to quickly disagree for a second here. The concept mostly just seems to be about, like, writer's block, really. That's kind of what it is. But the best songs on here are the ones where they stray away from that.
That's writer's block, but I also think it's about kind of being like a punk band that's on a label and how you kind of deal with the pressures of doing that, and at least in this fictional scenario, how that ends up going really awry and basically ends the record.
Mm-hmm.
Because as it's going on, there's a lot of push back and forth between the record label and them, and to some kind of degree. And by the end of the album, they are just ending it and they go bankrupt.
I know, but like the kind of little skit songs in here with 4 chords, like those are some of those moments. Sorry, there's just a bit of emergency vehicles outside my street here. The 4 chord skids parts are some of the weaker moments on here. Like it just, I don't know, wasn't really funny.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what it felt like it was trying to be.
Fair enough.
Compared to the last Canadian band that we covered, definitely much stronger altogether. I
forgot what the last Canadian band we covered was.
Look at this photograph.
I forgot they were Canadian. But I will.
It's easy to forget about the atrocities of Canada.
It is. I will say though as well though the moments on this record that I do like, I really do fucking like. Waiting is still a fantastic single and a fantastic song. I actually think my favorite single off here, which I prefer the singles more than the deeper cuts, is Matilda, which is the song that's kind of written in the perspective of a guitar that doesn't get used anymore. Which I thought, yeah, it's kind of cool concept to be writing about. The chorus hits pretty well. I don't know a better way to keep explaining that one. There was actually a Ask Me Anything Pop did recently where they did reveal that the opening of Robert Writes a Love Song is indeed a nod to Paranoid Android.
Huh.
Figures, yeah.
Yeah.
Radiohead.
Which that's a cool little piece of trivia in there.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
It's weird. I'm going to be just comparing this to their previous stuff, and I don't think it's like an issue with their sound or anything on this record that I have. I think they don't really go that far with it, but it's more so it's just that whilst their previous stuff, I kind of like if I go back to even The Dream Is Over, which I mean that one has the best opening of any of their fucking records. With If This Tour Doesn't Kill You, I Will, going straight into DVP. It's just fucking incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And here, it's just like 4 chords, fine, but I don't. If I go back to listening to songs off here, I'm not going to go back to 4 chords. But I'd go back to the Matilda or the Waitings. Maybe even if I'm going to go for one of the ones that wasn't a single, was probably Grim Reaping was the one. I thought kind of at least, like, the second half of this album didn't really grab me so much outside of Waiting and Grim Reaping.
I thought there wasn't a chance for them to kind of expand, and really they had, like, I don't know, 6 or 7 rock songs on this thing, and everything else is kind of, either the interludes, the conceptualization part of it, or
Yeah.
stuff. Tricks, you've not really said much.
I really fucking like this album. This is the first Pup album I've listened to, and ooh, I liked it.
Yes, I would agree with you.
I think morbid stuff is just something I had to bring up at some point. Then.
Yes.
Yeah, and I really like the song Matilda about as a guitar player, and it's like we all have that guitar or bass that we just put aside because we got something new, put it away for the new toy, but or we have that old guitar that we found in a thrift shop or something that just speaks to us, and like I get that as a guitarist.
Going back to Shaky Graves, of course, real quick.
Yes, like I've told before the story of how my Rickenbacker taught me to play differently, that sort of thing.
Right.
But yeah, I really appreciated just like the tones across this album. There's some great bass. Robot Love Song. I have a soft spot for any sort of song that posits themselves as like X sort of love song. Like Flock of Seagulls, Space Age Love Song is the best goddamn song they put out, and I will not hear any other hearsay.
Fair enough.
But yeah.
See, for me,
that's fair enough.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. So for me, still, no surprise. I think the record to beat is still Ants from Up There, and I'm interested to see if any other albums even come close.
Mm-hmm.
My previous number 2 for the year so far was Hot Flash Heatwave. This has supplanted that. But I still feel like there is a bit of a climb to go. There are still plenty of records that could slot in.
Yeah.
Again, like I said, I gotta wait if this one's a grower because I have no idea how I'm gonna feel about this at the end of the year. Maybe those little moments like Habits is just a really boring song, and I get that it tries to have a little bit of a different sound on it. I don't think it really does much for it though.
The song
it's stuff like that.
The song I really end up having a problem with. It's the only song I really have a problem with. I just don't like Robot writes a love song. I just don't think it fits. I don't think it's interesting. I find it kind of tedious and annoying.
So yeah, I disagree. I think I think Robot Writes a Love Song is one of the highlights of it. I do think it's a little cheesy, but I think they play it pretty well.
But it just doesn't fit the vibe of the rest of it, though.
I mean, in a way, yeah, but like a lot of the songs off here, I don't really. I feel like a lot of the songs off here. Well, it does sound different to Morbid Stuff. It does sound different to The Dream Is Over. But they could have been on like a B-sides or a demos or like a unreleased track stuff here, and I wouldn't have been surprised because whilst there's some great tracks here, there's still some of the weaker pop songs on here, or songs I would say like hey, it felt more like they were created alongside something better.
Like I feel like this album is mostly kind of just self-reflexive and like really kind of about anxiety and like kind of being really self-conscious of themselves as a band and kind of dealing with the fame and how they're feeling about it. And I think that's where a lot of songs like Totally Fine. I think is Habits the one where they talk about like feeling like shit, acting like they're fine. I can't remember.
I think that's Totally Fine.
I think I'm doing just fine. Oh. Anyway, there are a couple songs in here that are about kind of dealing with those emotions, and I think Matilda is a great another example of like kind of mourning or like thinking about that guitar. And I think the 4 chords at least kind of go with that because it's about like, hey, we have all this money, we need to do something. I bought a piano, fuck. And I just don't see how Robot Writes a Love Song does anything with any of that. It's just a completely different perspective, a different character. It would really work as a B-side, perhaps, but Kill Something probably would have been a better choice on here.
Yeah, Kill Something was a pretty surprising omission from this record since we thought it was going to be. I thought it was more a double single than it was a B-side, but I don't mind that it's just a. I mean, they said themselves when they asked me anything that they couldn't actually find a spot in the album where they wanted to put Kill Something.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot of people do like Robot Writes a Love Song, and yeah, I somewhat do agree with it doesn't fit on the album, but I do think it's still one of the better songs on there.
Yeah.
I also would say that Waiting is probably the Tony Hawk song of the bunch.
Probably, actually. It hits the hardest out of all the songs on here.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And it's when I talk about a bit of cheese that Pup can have, that whole part where they go about the French lessons and start speaking in French that's the pure pop cheese you can always expect.
Yeah. And that's fun. Like, even, like, I don't know. I'm looking at my notes real quick. Like, even songs like Relentless, I'm like, yeah, this is better than Robot like Right Love Song. This is about like dread and like the relentless dread you feel in your life. And I just like, yeah, this hits better. This is more interesting to me.
I just want to say that pup cheese sounds like something you'd see at Pride.
Probably, actually.
Yeah. Anyway.
Sorry.
No. I don't know. I think it's interesting the dynamic of like the two people who've not listened to Pub really liking this, and then the person who has.
I know. I guess I'm comparing it more to the earlier stuff. I mean, I still like this record. There's no doubt. I bought the tickets to see him live. I'm waiting to see him live now. Waiting for them. And
yeah,
that's pretty much about it. I mean, I promise I'll probably bring up morbid stuff. I'll probably bring up the This Place Sucks Ass EP with it because they do a really great cover of AM 180 on there.
Yeah.
But it's just a record where maybe it's also because I was following up with the singles and everything. Maybe it's because I've been listening to pop since 2016, since DVP came out. So it's one of those bands I've been following for a considerably while now. I always had that theory where like an artist has its kind of peak popularity and how long you listen to, and then after that, and Pup's one of those bands that didn't end up lasting a year or 2 years for me. They've continued on here, and I'm still listening, so it's probably going to continue for a while. I mean, if I see more Pup singles, I'm just going to listen to them. This isn't changing my view of them.
Now, a lot of their songs have that kind of like big explosion into like orchestral and the complex layering.
Sorry, like what song are you referencing again? You're probably referencing.
Kind of 4 chords and totally fine. How like fucks up the piano, then it just switches.
They haven't really been working too much with that kind of like that type of sound. So, yeah, because Morbid stuff did have a lot of kind of like going loud and soft moments in there, but I wouldn't say it really had any like crashing piano sounds. But I mean, this record is like you look at the album art, and I think they are trying to put up a little bit of a vibe that there's a bit of a clusterfuck happening.
Also,
but I think they did
joke maybe.
Yeah, but I think they did a lot better of like kind of clusterfuck sound in The Dream Is Over. So
fair enough.
Also, have anything to say?
Album good.
My favorite tracks, probably Waiting, Totally Fine. I like for the once I actually like the skits. I like the 4 tracks. My least favorite is Robot Writes a Love
Song. Favorites, as I said, Matilda. Robot Writes a Love Song. I don't have a least favorite.
My favorite's Matilda. Robot Writes a Love Song is probably up there with Grim Reaping, in which is like if I had to pick another favorite. But Waiting and Matilda are the big favorites. Least favorite is Habits. That one's just where it kind of like this album kind of like falls off a little. Is there?
Now,
interesting.
Unraveling for Kids.
Mm-hmm.
You've remixed your song Percussion. It's the only one that's remixed on any of these. I'm curious why you wanted to do that.
So I called it a remix, but it's actually just an alternative mix. I've heard a couple of versions, and if you look at both Smash Desk, I believe, has a couple of alternative mix on there as well. It's originally I was going to be trying like some different sounds on there, see if it actually kind of works, but because I was like, hey, should I try getting percussion with its kind of like bassier mix happening in here? But it didn't really flow well enough into Ice-T Hippity Hoppity. So I decided to go with the kind of more raw sound on the album and leave the more edited one in the single.
Interesting. Yes.
Interesting.
And I do appreciate you kind of like getting those other sounds like we were talking about earlier. Like the Sound of My Desk Fan is a really cool track because of how much that sound actually warps kind of in the mind, where it's not just a desk fan, it sounds more grand than that in a way.
Mm-hmm.
In a way, this album did really remind me of like the experimentation you might find on like a Neutral Milk Hotel or something like that, where maybe it's because they use like, I don't know if it's like bagpipes or something, I can't really remember, for the singing saw and stuff, and it's
they use synthesizer to simulate bagpipes, I think.
Yeah, that makes sense. So where they kind of do stuff like that, and it kind of sounds old timey, a little carousel-y, and I feel like you kind of captured some of those sounds as well.
Yeah, I definitely agree. It was kind of like a mixture of carousel-y, as you'd say, and a little like sea shanty like.
Yes. You have the sea shanty jokes as well. Kind of acknowledging that she'll never see the sea.
Yeah, there's a couple. Hold on, I'll get the whole track list up because I can't remember every one of the 30 songs on here. Yeah, there's she's never seen the sea is one of those, and there's the other one is the Old Man and the Sea Key harmonica.
Mm-hmm.
It is worth noting, of course, 40 tracks, at least in the ones that we've covered, the pre-release singles, EPs, and then the actual album itself. 40 tracks, really impressive.
Very.
Yeah, well, there's even more because there's 6 in the Slifer Mean single, and then Smash Desk has 16, and that's just 22 released ones. There's the compilation, which is a continuation of stuff that I had before, and then just other ideas I've had afterwards. Picking up the pieces, that has 31 tracks at the moment, and that's completely unreleased.
We will see if that comes about at some point soon. That's a really nice tease. I tried to get you to release it this week, but you did say no, and I do appreciate you for being upfront about it.
I didn't think it would be released. It's there's some stuff on there that we'll just have to wait and see.
It's too personal.
Yeah. Oh yeah, man. I just all those personal events happen, so you start slamming your desk and singing into your harmonica.
Now I did have to stop myself when I was taking notes because I was calling it slamming for a while, but it's slammin. And there's a key difference without that G. Slammin is a much more fun version of the verb, and it really portrays, I think, kind of the emotional core of the album. It's really kind of improv off the cuff in a way. Slammin with the apostrophe is.
I'm impressed that you're saying this all with a straight face.
The thing that it reminds me most about is the album Head Shrinkin' Fun by the Bomboras.
Yes, they also figured out how to do that apostrophe without the G and make it really kind of relate back to the sound and vibe they're trying to get with release. So I always appreciate stuff like that. You kind of want to let people know you're not as uptight and white collared as, I don't know.
Well, I feel like anyone who thinks this album is serious is probably not gone up to Guitar Hero Solo Unplugged yet.
I was trying to sequence and figure out which song it was you were playing. Was not successful.
There is no song I'm playing. It's literally just a solo. with the guitar, there's nothing.
Interesting.
Interesting. Yeah.
It's a bunch of it is just a bunch of random notes.
Huh.
Now, Trick, do you have any questions?
What is your favorite flavor of Oreo?
I'm not much of an Oreo eater, so I don't really have a favorite on that one. I don't mind. There's this golden flavor shit that they had, which I tried once. I didn't hate that, but I don't eat Oreos outside of cookies and cream ice cream.
Fair enough. I asked because I've got a family-size container of lemon Oreos that I've been munching on.
I would not be getting that.
I'm not a big fan of the lemon, but I do like the gold.
Oh, the lemon ones are so good.
I like other lemon. The Oreos just not seem right to me. Just like, that's chocolate. Why is it lemon? Anyway,
that is a fair question, Trix. Answer the question.
Me?
The interview is now on you.
What was the question again? Why do I like lemon Oreos?
But Oreo should be chocolate. Why is it lemon?
Because it's just like light and refreshing in your mouth, and I don't know. I just can't be constantly shoveling in like chocolate all the time, and like I get sick of chocolate. But like I like lemon.
And how does that make you feel?
I already know I'm weird because I willingly chew clove gum, so it doesn't really affect me that much.
I also think you puke more than the average human.
I do.
Maybe there's something to that.
Maybe there's something to liking lemon Oreos.
Now, Trick, since the interview is on you, I will ask, do you think that coin-type drum beat, the track, is a reference to JPEG Mafia type beat?
Probably.
I will answer that and no.
No,
I might have been indirectly influenced by the titles of that, but it's just drum beat, kind of coin type of a drum beat.
Nice.
Fair enough.
That's the cool. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's not supposed to be a reference, but I could have been influenced. Yes.
Now, one other thing I do want to ask you about is you've called this Sports Ball 4 informally.
Yeah. So well, it's the continuation of the Sports Ball, and technically it is Sports Ball 4 because what's now kind of like how the trilogy of Sports Ball goes is Sports Ball 1 is the first 4 songs that I wrote for that. Sports Ball 2 is the remaining songs on there, and then Sports Ball 3 is all the remixes. Which it's a little weird just because Sports Ball originally in those EPs had the remixes included. But it's just a lot easier with that, and then added in two little extra 2022 remixes to that. The reason I call that though is that the Sports Ball EPs are actually made in a very similar way, in which I kind of just grabbed whatever was on my desk and started making random shit music with it for a game I was making just to work around with some kind of playlist functionalities that I had in it.
What's the game? Plug it.
Sports Ball.
It's still out there?
Yeah, it's still out there. It's on my website.
Ooh, can
link it.
And I stole the ukulele from my brother, so it's not even my ukulele. I didn't know how to play it, and I just go. There's actually a couple moments on there that aren't mine. Ali's song is written with Ali's guitar. He actually did the guitar on that. Did the shit song. He listened to it and said stop. I mean, the rest of talking about that will have to kind of be talked about whenever Sports Ball was brought up. But
right.
Yeah, it's a
I just want to congratulate you because I know that Sports Ball, the trilogy, was finally released on Bandcamp earlier this year. You finally got the rights cleared to it.
Yeah.
Sure, if you want to put it that way.
No.
I just decided it had been on YouTube for a long time and no other streaming platform, so just released it as a trilogy. Yep.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm happy to have that you've had that success. Now,
hell yeah.
Let's flip the table on Tricks again here. There's an EP out there called Slop by this Fourth Wanderers band. Tell us about it.
Yes. It is 4 fantastic songs. And I discovered this after the Fourth Wanderers self-titled. But there's some really good songs on here, and I think like in particular Nerves captures like that intro to Nerves captures like that nervous feeling in the pit of your stomach whenever you get like really nervous or like anxious. It really captures that in just that opening few notes.
Yeah, I think Nerves and Unfold are probably some of their best tracks. I think because they capture really interesting emotions. The story of Fourth Wanderers is really interesting for what I was reading about it. I don't know if you read the article that I linked in that.
I did not, if I'm going to be honest.
Basically, the singer Ava Trilling, they were all in high school, although all 4 members. She was a bit younger than all of them, but they all formed a band together. And she just hated touring and never really like it came up every now and then, and like she always made arrangements. Oh, my dad's gonna come. We're gonna sleep in a hotel. You guys can do the band on tour thing.
Yeah, it's the Neil Peart situation, except not as big.
I never knew about Neil Peart doing that.
He hated touring.
Right. Okay, fair enough. And then eventually, you know, as the big like nationwide tour was looming for their self-titled album, she was just like, I cannot do this. And you know, she went to like a treatment facility and was diagnosed with several different things, including like agoraphobia and things like that, that kind of explained a lot of her issues that she was having, like a panic disorder and things.
Yeah.
And then she kind of realized, I actually cannot do this. We need to cancel the tour.
I did not know that.
And that's kind of where things have been since then.
Huh.
They canceled the tour. There's not really been much from them. Ben Gatterall, the guitarist, did release an EP later by himself under the name Ben Special. Yeah, but that's really all that's been done since.
That I knew.
Yeah, like they canceled the tour like a week or the week before.
Which it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's such a good band.
I mean, granted though, like if you are going to have massive anxiety issues, it was a really smart choice.
Yes.
Oh yeah, of course.
Better to not like force yourself not enjoying it and make more tensions with the band.
Yes.
You know, I hesitate to be like, this is another one of those bands that we've covered that are similar, where it's like Fan Club Wallet or something. I do think there are things that make this a little bit more unique and interesting, but it never also makes me super interested.
Slop is the most interesting track of both the EP and the album, in my opinion. Yeah.
They're also covering the self-titled album as well.
Yes.
Their last release so far. How did you just go ahead.
I found it really kind of like in and out most of this listening for Fourth Wanderers, except for the title track for the EP. That one just, I don't know, for some reason that one just hit me right or something. I like how kind of lazy, kind of slacker rock it feels on it. I think, I don't know, it's just something about the way how the lyrics come in as well, that they actually, or mostly the vocals coming in on it, that I think they're just timed just right for it to actually be kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It's a weird song, and it's not like it's too different to any of the other stuff off here, but for some reason that one just hit better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get that.
There's something about the interplay between the Ava and like the guitarist and like the vocals and the lyrics, the instrumental, that I do like.
There's some really pretty counterpoint between the vocals and the guitar, and even between like the guitar and the bass. Like they are playing some beautiful lines together.
And like this is a high school band. That's the impressive.
Yeah, that is very impressive.
And like Ava was the youngest one, and she's holding her own.
Yeah, and she has a great voice.
Yes. I don't know why when they come together, I can acknowledge that and still just can't be like, but it's kind of where I am. It's like in the moment, I'm like, oh, that's really pretty. That's nice. I do like how her voice kind of is affected on that. I like how the guitar interplays with the voice, because like as I was reading, apparently, kind of like the Smiths, Ben would create kind of the skeleton of the track and then send it to Ava, and she would do the lyrics over.
Yeah,
it's kind of where I think that some of the interplay comes in. Sure, she's matching the guitar and what it's.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But I don't know why I don't get more in.
It's an album and an EP that's there, and it's fine that it's there, but it's just there. That's like the quickest way you can describe why I can't get more into this. Yeah, there are a lot of artists like here, and honestly, that's probably also not a great thing to say. I don't know exactly what Ava was what would have triggered, anxiety or anything, and maybe a fear of being exactly the same as a bunch of other artists out there, classic imposter syndrome and shit. Could have come into play, and if that's the case, I apologize, but there is still a big case of there are a lot of artists like this out there.
Like, to me,
to compare them to a band that we've already done, Plush. I get Plush vibes from these, or like they give off the same kind of vibe.
I get Soccer Mommy vibes, actually.
I was gonna say Beach Bunny.
Huh.
And we also
Beach Bunny is a lot more polished and a lot more poppier.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I can also see the lead of Beach Bunny doing some of these songs.
Yeah.
I get a lot of the soccer mummy type of vibe here, where it's kind of like a bit like sad, kind of lo-fi, indie rock here. Mostly the kind of earlier soccer mummy stuff, and I think when I go back into that, I'm like, why do I like fucking I can't say words like soccer mummy more than Fourth Wanderers? And then I realized, wait, I'm not actually that into early soccer mummy. I like her newer stuff, where she's kind of now evolved. And don't get me wrong, I feel like Fourth Wanderers are a band that could have easily have done that if they had stuck around.
Yeah.
So it's still an absolute shame that they're probably broken up at this point. Probably
Never
not
been
going to
anything official, but yeah.
Yeah.
Also, it's worth noting that the three of us did say 3 different bands that we were thinking of.
Yeah.
So there is, again, kind of that, like, it is another one of them. But
yeah,
I can see why Slop is popular. Like, for a 4-track EP, it does hit a lot of good notes.
Yes.
And the people who are fans seem to be into the self-titled. I just did not find much to grab onto. Ages ago, it has some interesting stuff. Maybe that's the only one I can really remember. But I have listened to this 4 or 5 times. Like, I've done like half listens, quarter listens, depending on where my drive is here and there. I could not tell you much about the.
I'd like to take a mention to talk about "Be My Baby."
Yeah,
which is first track of side 2, and
the other version being really pretty.
Yes, the other version I think is a superior version. I'm gonna just rant about this for a second, because the live version they did had a very like jazzy electric guitar for the chords, whereas the studio version had a more lo-fi, more scratchy sounding kind of acoustic guitar doing the chords. And I think that the play between just the really like jazzy and bassy and full sounding chords on the live version just play off of the really bright and glassy slide guitar and ethereal vocals and just kind of elevate it to another level that like just the studio version isn't there.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. Like, I don't know what it is about. I feel like that happens every now and then, especially with like more underground bands where live they are more interesting, but in the studio they are not as much.
Yeah,
like it's the Lucas Kuka situation for me. Of like, I love seeing Lucas live, but the recordings he had done never quite hit.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's just like a failure on like the recording artist to like get the vibe of the band, if that's just like that's the equipment that they had to work with, or they're not like figuring out the best ways to capture like the dynamics that they were working with. I don't know if you have any opinions.
My guess is because the version I sent the song was just called Untitled.
Right, so it was an earlier version probably.
Yeah, so it was an earlier version. But if you pay attention to the chords and how it plays off of the slide guitar, it's the exact same song. They just hadn't named it yet.
Right.
And it just plays better off of the like. It might have been a thought of like, hey, I think it'll sound cool if we use an acoustic guitar, and it might just be artistic intention. And different people have different preferences in like that kind of rhythmic guitar tone. Who knows?
Yeah.
There's like a million different reasons for that kind of difference to be a thing.
Understandable. I mean, I did like how the instruments sounded on this EP, despite it being kind of pretty muffled.
Yeah.
But I still don't know if I'm really going to go back to this ever, or if I have a reason to. I think it could be a bit of a shame that Fourth Wanderers might just be a band that existed in a period of time.
Yeah.
Well, I'm still gonna do their other album, which is very different, believe it or not.
EP as well.
Like, and their other EP, Mahogany.
Tough Love was like a short album too.
Yeah.
Some places were calling it a mini album, even saying that the self-title was their debut, and it's like, we really gonna have this debate again?
Yeah, but I'm definitely gonna do Tough Love, and I'm definitely gonna do Mahogany. They are very interesting projects or whatever they are.
Fair enough.
Also, I think this is the first band we've done from New Jersey.
I don't think so, but something I'm probably wrong. We've had to have done a band from New Jersey already.
Maybe. I will type in New Jersey band into Google and see what happens. Bands from New Jersey. Right. Hill Gang number 1 listed on. Nothing. Not only does nothing like seem interesting, nothing really is something I'm familiar with either. I don't know if New Jersey just has their own like world of music. Oh, Streetlight Manifesto is the one I've heard of. Yes.
Streetlight Manifesto. Yeah, we have not covered Streetlight Manifesto yet.
Mm.
But it doesn't surprise me that you've heard of them, Domino, because they are a ska band.
It is probably one of the bands that Lucas covered most live.
Gotcha.
Gaslight Anthem I've heard of.
Yup.
Yeah, I guess I've heard of as well.
Going through a list. Nothing. Census Fail I've heard of.
Census Fail, baby. I stuck in a coma.
Okay. Danzig.
Ooh,
And Bon Jovi, okay.
Go back to Danzig for a second there. Get away from Bon Jovi. I don't want to talk about Danzig, I just don't want to talk about Bon Jovi.
Yeah, we'll rant about Danzig some other time.
Okay, actually, we have covered a New Jersey band.
Yeah?
My Chemical Romance.
They're a New Jersey band.
Yeah, I didn't realize they're New Jersey.
That was almost 100 episodes ago. Or, I kind of forgot.
Fuck, yeah, you're right. That was pre-pandemic.
Yeah, that was the height of my initial anxiety attack. That was fun.
Yeah.
You had an anxiety attack and you picked My Chemical Romance. I had an anxiety attack and I think I picked the Middle East.
I think that was the episode where I went to the hospital and came back in time to record.
Fair enough. Holy shit, I forgot about that.
But yeah. Fourth Wanderers. All right.
I really like this album, and I really like this band.
That's fair enough.
My favorites are Nerves and Unfold. On the EP, my least favorites, No Better. Favorite on the album is Ages Ago. I really can't tell you anything else.
Okay.
I'm going to agree with the album. Favorite of Fourth Wanderers EP is Slop. Least favorites, probably No Better.
All right.
My favorite off the EP, Slop and Nerves and Unfold, and off the album, Nevermind. It just has a great intro to it. I'm holding the record in my hands and reading it off there. So
the record does look cool.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's a pretty record. There's like a melting Volvo in the liner notes. But yeah, there's not a bad song off this album, and like the entire B-side just kicks ass. And that's Be My Baby to Temporary.
I also did not like the titles of the songs. I felt they were very generic.
They are very generic.
Anyway.
I will say that their first album, just as a sidetrack, has more unique titles. Like they've got one called Fuck, Television.
Okay.
It's not like super memorable, but it's more interesting than fucking Taste and Company.
Contemporary, yes.
Ages Ago.
Ages ago. But yeah. They're fun.
Fun band.
Now we got to get on to the doozy.
Indeed.
The album and 2 EP special by Rit lin4kidz. Desk Slammin Fun. Miss Orsa. Mean.
This is where Dominic finally says his true thoughts.
Now, I do have one other question I do want to ask.
Yes.
Who is Noreen and who is Eileen?
I don't know. It just sounded cool. They just sounded cool.
Just crewing into made-up women.
And Miss Orsa is referencing that one note you shared with us. That's the cover of one of your EPs, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there's the only girl on the whole album names that exists is Miss Orsa, and that's just because somebody one of the kids at my partner's work misspelled her last name as Miss Orsa.
Ah, interesting.
That's the only person who exists on this fucking thing.
And not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
And Slithamine, no fucking clue, right?
Oh, no, that's just a meta word.
Love it. Excellent.
I say it
Fair
as
enough.
Slythamine.
All right. Slytherin.
Is this going to be GIF?
Yeah, little.
Slythamine. I don't give a shit. Fine.
Okay, quick sidebar. How the fuck do you pronounce the G word, guys?
Which one?
GIF.
If.
Yeah, I say it as GIF.
Yeah, I say gift as well, or GIF as well, because I think gift.
I know that the guy pronounced it GIF, and now he's dead, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, fuck him. It's GIF now. Death of the author, literally.
Now let's get into this. Trix, I want to hear your thoughts.
I loved and hated this album. It was a pain in the ass to listen to, and I could not do it sober.
That's the goal. That's the goal.
I had to be toasted listening to this. I could, as soon as like my sober ears heard it, I'm just like, fuck no.
See, it wasn't quite that bad for me. I was interested. I was legitimately interested in listening to like the different kinds of things that could be.
I want to interrupt. I want to interrupt for 5 seconds. So, how was the listening though when you were toasted?
Mediocre at best.
Better than I expected.
Like, obviously, this is not like the most amazing production or like the most tight songs in the world.
No.
But I kind of came into this knowing that, like,
Yeah,
I was ready for that. So I'm looking for vibes. I'm looking for what does it evoke from this. And it's like, for 30 tracks, I don't think it needed to be 30 tracks. I think you could have cut it down a little bit. But I do think there is a vibe here. There is something to this that is not completely.
What do you think I could? What do you think I could have cut out?
I couldn't tell you. I don't know. I don't know how many tracks it would be, but it's like it all kind of is like a sea of, ironically, a sea of notes and like 30 seconds of this, 30 seconds of that. Had it been a bit tighter, maybe we could have had like a fully conscious album. But like an overstuffed album in this context is fine too, because there's still moments I legitimately remember and. Stuff I actually looked forward to as I kept listening to it.
Okay, what stuffs do you remember? Come on.
I do like The Old Man and the Sea harmonica. I do like Ice-T Hippity Hoppity.
That one was my partner left an iced tea bottle empty on her desk, so I started slapping that against the table.
I do like the part of the album in which you go to the dirty harmonica and dirty drums, and then you go back to the drums, and now it's all back together. I also like the quick tracks, like Don't Mind Me, just some crazy drum passing through, and Blitz kind of just coming through quick and dirty.
ESF Forever actually is like the one that I think actually is the best track on here because it's an actual good closer for this album.
Yeah, you figured out a way to close it off, which you had to reference Evangelion, and that's fine. I love Evangelion, but I thought it was a pretty nice way to close it off. Now,
I have something to say that I don't know if it's going to be a compliment or an insult, and so, Ritz, I'll let you take this as it is. But I think if you put this album on an old cassette tape and just released it in a couple of thrift stores, in like 5 years, you'd have a cult following calling you like the peak outsider artist.
Yeah, I probably should do that.
They call themselves the Wallbangers.
Yeah, pretty much. Look, it's the Daniel Johnson way.
Like I don't mean it as an insult, but like you can take it as one, but
you don't mean it as a compliment.
I don't exactly mean it as a compliment either.
Yeah.
But you can take it as one. Take it however you want.
I do also legitimately like hiking in the woods as like an exercise in creating ambiance and Foley to recreate walking in the woods. For 46 seconds, and it is what it is. It is one of the highlights overall for me. And
okay.
I'm curious what you decided to cut for these things, because a song like that I think would be great on the album.
Hiking in the Woods was cut. I just didn't think it fit.
And I can see that too. I can see why you wouldn't think it fit.
Wallbanger was Eileen from the Noreen single here that wasn't cut. That was a B-side made specifically for a B-side. Percussion, Wallbanger, and Hiking in the Woods were all cut. I'm looking back at Miss Orsa. Hardcore Gamer was cut, and Cushion Bass Kick and Bin Drumming were both cut as well. DSF 0902 2022, that one is just a B-side from what I remember.
Fair enough.
So most of the stuff of the singles were legitimately cut from the album. Some of them were made. I think DSF I did make at the starting it, intending it for it to be on the album, but immediately realized it wouldn't fucking fit.
Interesting.
Fair enough.
And I do gotta again commend you for going outside of the Desk Slammin part of it and like going for the guitar a little bit here and there and for the coins and for actually finding enough things around your desk that made it an album and not just drumming.
The only thing that wasn't around my desk at the start of this was the harmonica, which I bought from JB and I played for $5.
Oh, I thought you like found it on the ground or something.
No.
He posted the story of when he bought the harmonica in chat. You don't remember?
Yeah.
I
found it $5 from a chain store. So
fair enough. And 8 a.m. coffee break. You kind of go real manic at the second half of that, probably to simulate being on coffee. Did you actually?
Well, actually, I should say the other thing that I technically did pay for, but it wasn't paid specifically for the album, was that coffee. That was the drum beat on that is made on top of a coffee cup.
Nice.
That I bought from across the street because I drink coffee a lot.
How much was that?
Hell yeah.
$5 for a large mocha.
Damn.
Fitting with American prices, of course. So that's another like $5, kind of. The album.
Yeah,
so,
but it wasn't spent towards the album.
Fair enough.
$15.90 in the whole total.
I guess maybe, but I kept drinking coffees every day, so do we consider that?
I mean, if you want to like
just the one you used on the album.
If you want to count the guitar too, how much was the guitar that we can go down the rabbit hole?
Yeah, but that was the same guitar from the first EP.
Yeah,
fair enough.
So it can't really, I guess.
Now, my other question is, how do you feel about these?
About this album?
Yeah, I
think it sounds like shit, but I think it was really fun to make.
That's all that matters.
That's important, and you know,
I think there are actually good concepts on here. I legitimately think it's. I consider myself very conceptual when it comes to my art, in which is a good way of saying that I have great ideas and really shit execution. I think there are moments on here where you can go, this could actually, if someone actually went on to here, tried to make the song an actual proper song, could actually make it sound good. I mean, Noreen, I think probably is the best song off here. Could actually sound good if someone did it properly.
Yeah, probably.
There are good concepts. Like I said, like there's a really good closer with DSF Forever because that's like with an album like this, that's the only fucking way I could close it. It's just something that just kind of trails off into itself and dies, which is fine. I mean, realistically, this is not good, but it doesn't have to be good.
It's not my favorite of the week, I'll tell you that, but I do appreciate it as an exercise in making art.
Yeah.
Or more just having fun. I mean, I like the more I go back onto it, the more I realize my first EP, the end of the podcast, was actually kind of good.
Yeah.
But it could also be that it's just good in comparison to the other shit that I made.
I mean, we can explore those eventually. You've gone down some really interesting rabbit hole.
But I don't know. It's just fun to make. I made them also kind of when I was procrastinating at work and like couldn't really think of the next little code that I had to put in. So I'm like, hey, I need a 5-second break and do stuff like this. So I actually spent like a full month on this record. That's the thing. I actually did spend quite a bit of time, and this isn't like the ambient shit post I did beforehand, which actually took longer to listen to than did to make.
Now, where is
this is just straight up. Just 2 seconds. This is actually like a straight up exercise in making an album. Whether or not it's good is irrelevant.
That's totally fair. So where's Byron? What's that Byron track about?
Byron Bay, and that's something that you probably have to be in New South Wales to to kind of get the reference for, but the whole point is that it's supposed to sound like a shitty busker in Byron Bay.
Oh, interesting. Because I googled Byron, and there's a Byron, Illinois. Funny enough.
No, it's a very coastal, very very left leaning town in top of New South Wales. And when I say leaning, if there's stuff that you do describe as alt left, it's the bunch of fucking hippies in Byron Bay.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Byron,
I wouldn't
Illinois.
I wouldn't be going so hell yeah. Byron Bay has its couple issues.
Fair enough.
I think they actually do have the lowest vaccination rate in Australia.
Ooh.
Now, Byron, Illinois is in Ogle County. It's in kind of like the northwestern part of Illinois. And it's one of the last nuclear power plants commissioned in the United States, according to Wikipedia.
Ooh, hell yeah.
And
We love
it's-
nuclear
it is-
power on this podcast.
It is not that. It is not that, unfortunately.
And notable people, according to Wikipedia, include Albert Goodwill Spalding, who founded A.G. Spalding Sports Good Company.
Huh.
Joseph McCormick, congressman and senator, and owner of the Chicago Tribune, partially. And Trisha Paytas, a YouTuber.
Fuck.
I don't know.
What's
I just know her from Twitter, and she's fucking crazy.
Okay. Well, there is that.
Yeah.
You know who else comes from Illinois? Ninja. I don't know what the fuck's happening here, but it's producing weird YouTubers.
what
I
happened?
guess.
Yeah,
Ninja had to be like constantly on coke.
probably.
Founded in 1835, incorporated in 1878. Anyway, anyone have anything else to say about Desk Slammin Fun and the accompanying?
I hate it. I love it. I don't have anything to say other than that.
How would you compare it to?
Yeah, I'm going to ask Trix a question here, though.
Yes.
Let me blow my nose first. Please talk.
Yeah. Okay. What is your favorite of this? You have to pick it. You cannot say. You have to pick a favorite and a least favorite, but I'm going to make you pick your favorite now.
I also want to know.
Let me look at the list.
I also want to know how you compare it to the previous work we've heard from.
Ritz's previous work is a little better, I think.
Meet Me One Day at the end of the podcast is still my best track by far,
Mm-hmm.
I like,
and that's because Trix is on it as well.
yes. I'm also
You have an
partial-
actual guitar player.
Also partial to Dominic's skit.
Yeah. I guess if I had to say my favorite, Old Man and the Key of C Harmonica. The C key of harmonica.
Yeah.
Sorry, I am exhausted.
It's
slightly
a
stoned.
joke. It's a joke of the Old Man in the Sea.
Yes.
By Ernest Hemingway, I do know about the Old Man and the Sea. I was the
I know, but
daughter
that's
of an
just
English
that's what
teacher.
That's what I'm just saying to help you remember.
Yes, I was the daughter of an English teacher. I couldn't forget about Ernest fucking Hemingway.
Apparently, you did.
I'm literally named after Ralph Waldo Emerson.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, I just noticed that you put in Ben Guttural's
Yeah.
baseball record into the
I
chat.
found his college baseball record.
That's funny as shit.
It's like the one time I found like Lorenzo's like LinkedIn or resume or whatever.
Yeah.
Rolling college. I
Okay.
see. Anyway,
But before we continue on, but what I truly mean by the favorite here, Tricks, as well, is what is your favorite moment, and you have to describe the moment.
Probably that moment I was pretty stoned, half into a shit, and I forget what song it was, but I just felt at peace for a moment, and then it was immediately ruined. But there was a short moment of peace captured on this record that I could not tell you about.
Probably 8 a.m. coffee break.
Probably
the ending. Probably the ending to that.
Probably.
any least favorites?
The rest of it, I'm going to assume.
It's just so wild and varied that I can't shit talk it all accurately.
That's so fair.
So,
I like know that I'm saying this lovingly, Ritz.
If I thought that you were trying to actually start shit with me, we would have been fighting a long time ago.
Fair enough.
only. My favorites include my favorite moment. If we're gonna talk about favorite moments, I really like Guitar Hero Solo Unplugged. Partially because I thought that was gonna be a real song that you just captured yourself doing the keys of.
Yes.
And to find out
That would have
it's
been
not-
better.
To find out that it's not is funnier to me.
Yeah.
And I enjoy that you made a 50-second track out of just typing keys.
Well, it's using a real Guitar Hero guitar.
Oh, it did not even sound like it. It sounded like a keyboard.
It's a real Guitar Hero guitar.
Impressive. I
Impressive.
like that even more.
Yeah.
I also legitimately like the sound of my desk fan. That's a cool track. I also got to give it up for Blitz and Don't Mind Me, just some crazy drum passing. My least favorite, probably I'll Never See You Again, because you didn't keep up the C puns. You made it SEE instead of C.
No, it's I'll Never See You Again. I might have fucked it up in Bandcamp. Hold on.
You might have fucked it up on Bandcamp.
Give me 5 seconds to check that out.
Either that or I fucked it.
Let me. No,
Let's
it's
never
I'll
see
never.
you again.
Yeah, it's a C.
It's a
Damn
C.
it, I fucked it up.
Yeah, you fucked it up.
Scratch over that.
I'm so surprised that $10.90 was not considered either of your least favorites.
It's not a great track, I'll be honest.
I'm gonna recommend that like the next $5 you spend towards your next music endeavor, you buy a metronome.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now, going on to the EPs, my favorite tracks include I really like Hiking in the Woods. I also will give it up for bin drumming. I also dislike the single versions of each of the songs.
Which are just the same versions, but without the little bit of ambience at the end.
Correct.
I do not have a sober thought or a stone thought about either EP, if I'm going to be honest. One in one ear, out the other.
And I'm too biased to make an opinion.
You don't have any least favorites or most favorites of your
my least favorite is 1090. That song sucks ass. Mellison intro, I'd actually probably get rid of the next time I do this album. Favorite is actually Noreen and Slop for me. The songs I made, the singles, are my favorites.
I meant to ask you about Mellison intro, because you said you did all these individually, so did you consciously make an intro?
I did. So I made all the songs intro. Just because I did them individually doesn't mean I did them in the order that they're
right.
That they're listed. So I did Mellison first, and then I made a little shitty intro for it.
Fair
a while after, but I just wanted a little bit more time on the record.
I say keep it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. I think that is the interview.
All right.
Any final questions?
No.
Yeah, that's fair.
Now, I do have a final question. What are our rankings?
Okay.
Do we have to rank the singles? That's good. Yeah, is that gonna make it harder to rank?
I'm gonna rank them in blocks and just kind of position them in the right order.
Yeah, fair enough. I'll start it off. Number 5 will be the Miss Orsa EP.
Number 6.
Number 2, number 6. Sorry. Number 2 will be number 5 will be the Noreen EP. Number 4 will be Desk Slammin Fun. Number 3 will be Fourth Wanderers, self-titled. Number 2 will be Slop, and number 1 will be Unraveling and PUPTHEBAND.
All right, I'll go next. For me, I'm just gonna rank them in blocks. The bottom is Ritz's 3 shits. At the middle, it is Fourth Wanderers with Slop on the bottom of that, and then it's Pup at the top.
I think I'm going to echo Ritz here and say my least favorite is the Miss Orsa EP. Number 5 is the Noreen EP. 4 is Desk Slammin Fun. 3 is Fourth Wanderer, self-titled. Number 2 is Slop EP. And number 1 is the Unraveling of PUPTHEBAND.
All right.
I got a number 1 by default.
Yeah.
Especially because I just I was the only one who would have stopped Pup from being number 1, and I didn't.
Huh.
I'm disappointed because that means I would have had a number 1 had I picked it. But I didn't.
But what are we picking next week? It's another regular week next week, isn't it?
Yep. 22 is after that.
I'll go first.
Yeah, go first.
I'm going to be doing a band we have not covered since our Lost episode. I'm going to be doing Taco Cat's This Mess Is a Place.
That's an album I did listen to once, and then never listened to again.
It's a fun album. It's not as good as Lost Time, but it's a fun album.
I didn't really properly listen to it.
There.
Yeah, I can't really give the most accurate, I guess, description. Dominic, you can go next, by the way.
All right. So we're gonna cover. I'm gonna do an entire musician's discography this time. It's short enough that we can do all of it. It's not even all of his tracks, technically. We're going to do everything from Your Arms Are My Cocoon.
Huh. All right.
Including both the EP and the deluxe edition separately, because I think while the deluxe edition is the EP plus more, having the EP blocked off by itself compared to the deluxe edition is worth talking about.
Domino's and I saw him live.
Yes, with the Glass Beach Home is Where concert.
Yes.
Now, with this, then, plus those EPs, or plus the EP in the deluxe edition, we have the 2 split EPs that came out more recently: the Battle at Kikajima Island and Our Little Trains.
Okay.
That's all.
I'm gonna have to. Yeah, cool, easy. That makes it easier. I'm now currently just thinking what I pick. If you've have you picked everything, Dominic?
Yeah, that's everything.
Cool,
I'll repeat it in a minute when we all have it all situated.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think what I picked. Do we want to go 2022 or do we want to go a little older?
Well, since Ritz picked Taco Cat, or since Trix picked Taco Cat, do you want to pick Big Scary?
You know what? Usually I like to fight with you, and I still will fight with you, but I will pick Big Scary actually.
Hell yeah!
Because we haven't done Big Scary in a while. Which one do you want, huh?
What are the options?
Well, we could always do Animal again, but we're not going to do that.
We can talk about the other 2 albums a little bit more, but
yeah.
But are we going to? We can either pick Vacation or Not Odd. Which one sounds cooler?
Vacation.
Alright, we'll do Vacation. That's probably the better of the 2 anyway, so good choice.
I do like how well Big Scary works when like doing the titles after it.
Mm-hmm.
Big Scary Vacation. Big Scary Animal.
Big Scary, Not Odd. Oh.
Big Scary Daisy.
I might tack on another Taco Cat song or something, but it won't be required listening. But yeah.
Fair enough.
So to just repeat it all, since we kind of got a little jumbled there, doing Big Scary's Vacation, doing Taco Cat's This Mess Is a Place, and Your Arms Are My Cocoon, including the Your Arms Are My Cocoon initial EP, plus the deluxe edition, plus the 2 split EPs, The Battle at Kikajima Island, and Our Little Trains.
All right.
Can we just point out that by me choosing Home Is Where, I've pretty much turned this podcast into a 5th wave emo?
No, we are the definitive fifth wave emo generation podcast.
Fuck, you're right. I don't know how to feel about that. Fuck.
I think Home Is Where started it, and then Stomach Book cemented it.
Yeah.
Even before that, there was also Paranol.
Yeah,
it was like a precursor.
I have Home Is Where on vinyl, and I got Stomach Book on cassette.
Yeah, could always go into 4th wave at some point, but
ironically, I have the Glass Beach CD.
Yeah.
Until then, though, I have been Rit. You can catch me on my website, Rit4kidz@github.io. If you want to listen to Desk Slammin Fun, it will be in the description below. Same with my YouTube channel. And hey, if you go to my website as well, you can download that sports ball game I was talking about earlier. That is it for me.
I have been Trix. I have a Twitter. I stream. I post dumb shit on my Twitter. It's in the description. Bye.
I've been Dominic. You can catch me on Twitter at DACICHOCKI. I don't know if Tilting Windmill Studios is still up. I think it's being taken down eventually. But if it's not down yet, you can still read stuff there by me that I wrote before. I also have a YouTube channel. It's not really worth checking out. There's not much there. But I do have my short film Beat on there if you ever want to see anything that I actually made that I'm proud of. And that's really going to do it for Dissonant Waves this week. I think it was a really productive week. Bye.
See ya. Alright, we're done.